Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Mass Swingers. This is part 2 of our conversation about Diddy. We thought we got all of our thoughts out last time, but we didn't. There's a lot more to think about, talk about, laugh about. You'll see some anger in this episode. If that sounds interesting to you, then you'll want to tune into this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you get more content like this. And with that being said, let's hop on in. I think that what Diddy was really taking advantage of was narratives that are already in the system, and he was operating within the system where going to sex parties is looked at as wrong, right? And being promiscuous is looked at as wrong. But especially for like as a black man, like there's this thing in black culture where being gay is horrible. And so there's so many people where you might speculate that they like guys or that they play for that side of the team, but they never come out and say it. And I'm not going to out a bunch of artists right now, but I'll think about people like you kind of find out they're gay after their career is kind of sunsetting, right? George Michael was gay, or, the lead singer from Queen, what's his name? Freddie Mercury was gay, right? And so
I was like, is his name Queen? I don't know.
Right. Or like these theories about Michael Jackson or even Prince, right? And maybe Prince is fluid. I don't know. Like rest in peace, Prince. Maybe he was. You know what's funny? We had Mo on an episode once and he talked about meeting Prince. And I asked him, I was like, man, when you met Prince, what was that like? And he looked at me and he was like, I know you don't like dudes, but you would fuck them.
Oh my God.
He said, Prince is the most attractive human I've ever seen in my life.
I've heard that. Yeah.
I've heard that before too, right?
Yeah.
So, but there's this culture where as a black man, especially in the entertainment industry in the sports world, you can't be gay. Right. And so it's kind of, hey, look, I follow sports really closely. I don't know of an openly gay NFL or NBA player.
Really? Is there really? Wait, really? But I mean, they're obviously out there, but they're just not coming out for fear of society or like what?
Okay. And now listen to this, right? How many WNBA players do you think are lesbian?
I couldn't name one WNBA player who's.
I know, but just
anything.
Okay, but like not
a lot, them. Right? I mean, there's a lot, right?
Like, would you expect that? Like they,
yeah.
But you can't name one gay NBA player. Like it's just sort of. But some have come out later in their careers after they retired. They're like, oh, by the way, everyone, hey, I'm gay, right?
Yeah.
And so I think that dynamic created a space for Diddy to build this secret empire. And if what was happening in those VIP rooms was he was providing a space, maybe this is how it started out. He's going to provide a space for black men in the entertainment industry who are worried about being found out to go be themselves and have some fun, and it be private and they don't talk about it. I could see that being really, really valuable. Now, if he was using that same space to turn people who weren't gay or take advantage of people who were not, I think that's where it gets really, really wrong. But it may have started off with good intentions. And I also think that like Diddy was operating within an environment that we're all responsible for being there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like I feel sympathy for some of the guests that went that I'm not sure if they were privy to exactly what was going on, or maybe they knew what was going on downstairs but not upstairs. And like we said, if we had been invited to a Diddy party years and years ago, we would have been honored and we would have been like, yeah, let's go. And like, there's a chance we wouldn't have even known of, all the illegal activity and unethical activity that was going on. Right. And then people are going to go, well, Layla and Brian were there. And we're like, what? We didn't know.
Exactly. Right. And so that's why people don't want to come out and say I was at a Diddy party now. Right. And most of them are caught up in bullshit. Like most of them are caught up for no reason. They weren't involved whatsoever. And that I do believe. I don't think there is some overall conspiracy or Illuminati situation going on involving everyone. No one's that good at keeping secrets.
Right.
No one's that good. And people knew. This is the craziest thing.
Oh, yeah. We didn't even talk about that. Okay, keep going.
People had been warning people about the parties for years. Mm-hmm. I watched the video from Cat Williams from like 2009 or something. And he like it's so old on YouTube that you know in those videos like they don't even fill the whole YouTube window because the aspect ratio is so old and grainy. It was one of those, and he was talking about he didn't name Diddy's party, but he was talking about Diddy's parties.
Mm-hmm.
And he said when you get into the VIP area, it looks a little different. It was his exposure to Hollywood. So they've been talking about this for a while. And I think for listeners, what I really want them to take from this is that if you are hearing stuff about a party or a host or something like that, don't just ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just ignore it. If your friends are saying, I went there and I didn't feel safe or something, just it's not, there's so many options out there. Don't put yourself in the situation. It's just not worth it.
Right. Right.
It's just not worth it. So, like, I love that you said you were mad because I feel like it gave me permission to be pissed off.
Yeah. Right.
And I think I'm pissed at Diddy. I'm pissed as a person of color. Like I don't want to see my biggest fear, and we can cut this if we decide it's too racial, but like I do not want to see a bunch of entertainer, like male and female entertainers of color, like crucified over this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because all these people got it out the dirt. Like they worked their asses off and like they came up in an industry that the music industry is shady, is not a
Mm-hmm.
clean industry. It's like you almost have to do some dirt to be in it. And what I don't want to see, like I don't want Usher going down for this. I don't want J-Lo getting in. I don't want J-Lo getting involved. I don't want the people that kids look up to be like them getting pulled
Yeah.
into this. Like so I
Unless they
hope
deserve it.
I
Unless they deserve it.
unless they deserve it, right? For sure. For sure.
Because I guarantee you there were celebrities that went to these parties that did in fact know what was going on. And they're like, well, if I don't go upstairs, I don't see it. I don't hear it. Like I'm not here, but they are, right?
So would you hold them equally responsible in that case?
Yes. Without a doubt. Without a fucking doubt. If they knew what was going on and they didn't reach out to FBI or whoever the fuck and say, there's some really fucked up activity going on, I think that they should be liable for sure. Do you agree? Or do you
Yeah, I
consider them
mean,
more of a victim?
look,
Oh my gosh, we're gonna have to like cut so much.
you said it and don't think that you're wrong. I just believe that there is a reason that no one knew what Harvey Weinstein was doing, and then all of a sudden there were like dozens of accusations, right? Like no one, Bill Cosby was just being Bill Cosby, and then once one person did it, there was like a floodgate, right? And I think that it's this situation where if you're like a pawn on a chessboard, like you know as a pawn, you can't do anything. Like you don't have any power here. But like 8 pawns together can kill a king, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm using shit. It's like I think that when you're looking at this, you're like, okay, if Layla and I went to a Diddy party and we saw some stuff going on at a Diddy party that was wrong, we're responsible for telling the cops. Sure. But you almost needed a wave of that happening for it to happen. Like one person, maybe none of this, man, I'm stumbling with my words. I don't know if any of this would be coming out even now had Cassie Ventura not had the courage to like file the lawsuit.
Yeah.
Right. Then there was another lawsuit, then another lawsuit. Then the police started investigating. Then they raided the houses. And now you got this indictment. Like someone eventually has to have enough power and influence to go after the person. But it's never, it's like they all die by like 1,000 cuts. I
Right.
don't know if you
And
ever
I
noticed that. Like Epstein, all these guys, like it's like 1,000 cuts that kills them. You know what I'm
right.
saying?
But what about, powerful people that have talked about Diddy or have said something to law enforcement or have told everybody? Like, I'm thinking of Kanye West, who is a little odd, but like he did mention this. And then all the other celebrities are like, he's crazy. And now I'm like, is he crazy? I mean, he is, but like, you know what I mean? Like, how crazy are we? Is he actually, or is the media, who's also influenced by the high up people, like, you know what I mean? I feel like it's all kind of connected. So like, 50 Cent, Kanye West, Cat Williams, like there's multiple people, even fucking Ashton Kutcher I've seen interviews of him from years ago being like, yeah, the Diddy white parties. Oh God, I can't say that. God, I can't say that story. Like, I'm just like, this has already kind of been known. So why
Right.
is it
And
taking this long?
I, okay. You make a good point. I think that we dismiss people really easy. I think Cat Williams got dismissed as they called him crazy and they said he was jealous of Kevin Hart, right? They dismissed 50 Cent, saying that 50 Cent just wanted to like take Diddy's place. He just wanted to be number one in New York. And so it's easy to dismiss. Like people believe what they want to believe. I think people didn't want to believe that that was happening, and it was easier and it was lazy to call Cat Williams crazy.
Hmm.
It was
Yeah.
easy. Also, like you just said it, you just did that yourself. Like you were like Kanye. Also, Kanye's crazy. You just said it. Like Kanye is crazy. He just is. Like he's been
Yeah.
that way.
Right.
We loved him for it when he was wearing backpacks and like hopping on rocket ships and shit. You know,
Yeah.
he pretending he was in college when he was like 25 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We loved it. We loved him, but now it's like, oh, Kanye's crazy. So
Right.
I think, and that's why I was saying, like, people like listen to your friends. Like, just because your friends say something, they might be crazy. That doesn't mean that they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that they're wrong. And I think these people were telling their truth, but people didn't believe it was the truth yet.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, if they were involved and they're co-conspirators in it, then should they get in some trouble? Yes. If they were just in attendance at these parties and they're just kind of caught up in it, I don't want them being pulled down in it. Right.
Right.
I think that's it. And that's me selfishly. And I know there's race involved in that to some extent. And I don't want to make myself wrong or feel crazy for, not wanting a bunch of these people whose music I listen to go down for this. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, they like R. Kelly, Bill Cosby, Diddy, who else? Kind of crazy, right?
Right.
So yeah, it
Yeah.
pisses me off. Okay, this is where I'm gonna end this. But there is this line that Jay-Z says, and it is a guiding principle of my life. Which is kind of crazy. So it came from Jay-Z. Random line in his song, and it's just super simple. And he just says like you were who you were when you got here. And I think what he was saying was like sometimes people act like Hollywood made you crazy, or money made you crazy, or money made you selfish or shady. And what he was saying was that is who you were when you got here. And he
Mm-hmm.
says, he's like, dog, you was who you was when you got here. And so I think that anyone who is involved is probably shady in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of honest people that are getting pulled in with the shady people right now, and we can't tell what's what. So I'm glad I'm not a cop on this job. But
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, I think that like what we were talking about with parties, like there are shady people that throw play parties. Like they did not start throwing play parties and become shady. They were shady already. And so if
Mm-hmm.
your energy with someone's vibe feels off, get the fuck out of there, dude.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Well,
it's kind of like if you bought a Quiznos, right? You bought a Quiznos, and then everyone finds out that you have been laundering money, and then everyone's like, "Oh, all the Quiznos launder money," and it's like, no, 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 no. It was just this one Quiznos owned by this one guy. Like all industries are going to have shady, fucked up people. You know,
all of them,
right?
and not all politicians are shady, but some of them are very shady. Like
Right?
it's just, but that is who they are. They were that way already. They didn't become a politician and become shady.
Yeah.
I,
Do you
I don't
think?
believe that.
Do you
Go ahead.
think? Do you think that when people start to make more money or have more fame, it gives them permission to be more shady?
I don't think it gives you more permission. I just think money is just a tool. And the more money you have, the more you can hide and the more you can get away with. But I think the behavior just escalates, right? So like the guy right now who drives down Figueroa Street in LA to pick up a hooker on Fridays for $100, if he was a multimillionaire, he would be doing escorts. If he had enough money, he might have a secret apartment, right? But the shady, like he's already doing the shadiness, right? Like
Yeah.
he was already cheating on you. He just like elevated his cheating.
Who said mo money, more problems?
That was Biggie.
Biggie. Okay. It's true in a sense, right?
So I think what he's saying is like gimmies start happening. It's like the more money you have, the more people are coming at you trying to get money from you.
Uh,
Like give me money for this, give me money for that.
okay. So not related.
And then and when you're on top, like people want to be on top too, right? So you're a
Hmm.
target. You got a target on your back.
Right.
So I do think that, but to your other question, like I think that people have, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So if you're not an integrous person, when you get more money and more power, whatever areas of your life like we're out of integrity already, like you'll just have the opportunity to elevate those.
Okay, so I understand that the Diddy parties are bad. Bad things happened. From my understanding, the only illegal activity was shipping the prostitutes over borders, right? Is that the only thing that's technically illegal? I mean, besides, I guess, the blackmail, right? Is that what's getting everybody all upset? Because I feel like I've watched a lot
Yeah.
of clips and videos, and I'm kind of like,
So
where
the
is it?
so the biggest hole in the biggest hole that the defense can take, because I've watched like lawyers talk about this, and they watch the proceedings and stuff. If all of this was consensual, then there's not as much of a case.
Mm,
Now, right, he was bringing escorts across state lines, which is sex trafficking, right? So that is for sure a federal crime, and they're
okay.
going after him for that. At the parties themselves, though, like if people were going to these parties and being recorded consensually, then like nothing bad happens. So like I think a lot of the case relies on the coercion aspect of it, and were people being drugged and coerced to do those things. And then was he using the other thing that they're looking at is, was he using company funds to do all this? Because that has a whole nother gray area, right? Like if he
Hmm.
was using like Ciroc money
Hmm.
to throw these parties, right?
But what
But it
if
was,
everybody's using drugs consensually? And what if, because is it submissible in court to say that someone wasn't consenting to being recorded, but it's actually in his home on his property?
I mean, this is the whole thing with Airbnbs, right? These super hosts were recording what was going on at the properties, probably for like the safety of the Airbnbs, but some of them were using it nefariously, right? So like those people, that's what I'm saying, Layla. Like those super hosts were already fucking shady. Like it's like you became an Airbnb super host and was like, I'm gonna start recording people and beating off to it. Like that person was already doing shady shit in their life.
Yeah.
But you don't spontaneously turn evil,
Yeah.
right? So, but to answer your question, I don't know, man. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know how much the consensual nature of this, changes things.
Hmm. And I'm sure more evidence is going to come out and more facts are going to come out that will answer that question. Um, so if anybody comes in the comments and is like, "You stupid bitch, how do you not know?" I'm like, I have done a little research, but I fucking do not know everything. So
I'm not a
I'm
lawyer, and the prosecutors themselves are like, I'm not going to comment on that right now. So like
yeah.
they're not answering the question. But look, they had enough evidence to go after this, and the biggest thing for me is they denied bail.
Yeah, that's fucking wild.
That tells me they have some shit. If they deny bail, like he is a flight risk. Obviously, he owns a plane. He can probably get out of the country really quickly. But the fact that, because the government, I mean, why would you? They probably walked in with $5 million cash, because I think you usually have to put up 10% plus
Mhm.
collateral, right? They walked into a city like building with 5 million in cash. Cities need money. I'm saying cities are always in debt, and they were like, "Nah, that's wild."
That is pretty crazy. Yeah.
That's
And
that's when
yeah.
man, start laughing.
Yeah, that's pretty wild.
This is
Okay,
my
so what, okay, here's another question. Why did he Why did Diddy need 10,000 bottles of lube?
I think it was 1,000, but I don't know. I don't think he needed it. So I
Was it a
wondered that
thousand?
question
I
too.
heard I heard 10,000. I'm gonna fact check
Look,
this.
it could be 500. It wouldn't matter. Like, why do you need that much lube? And I honestly, I
Well, it was
that
baby
part,
oil too.
I know,
Like it wasn't even proper lube.
I know. But look, here's what I'll say about that. And I don't know this for sure. Layla's like looking up how many bottles of lube was it. That part makes logical sense to me.
It was 1,000.
Okay, it was
Okay.
1,000 bottles of lube. That makes logical sense to me.
What? What? There wasn't even a
Look,
thousand people at the party. Like, if
there
there was 1,000 people at the party and he's gifting out baby oil when people walk in, okay, but
I get that, but if you're in the business of throwing parties and you're also a business guy, right? And I don't know Diddy, but I know some people who've had run-ins with his son, and
mm,
it's not the funnest shit, right? But like they're business people, they don't like paying for shit. So I could pretty easily see him saying, you know what? I'm gonna use this company and I'm gonna buy a pallet of lube so that I got lube for 10 years. Cause you know what, man? If you go on Amazon and you buy a 12-ounce lube, it's probably like $30. But if you buy 1,000 of them, it's probably like $2 a pop, right? So why wouldn't he buy it? If he had the money, why wouldn't he buy 1,000? That's so funny that everyone got caught up on that. I was like, that makes perfect sense. Like businesses buy in bulk, Layla. You know this.
okay. I feel like I need to send you this TikTok I found for you to get the full effect of how many fucking bottles 1,000 bottles of lube is. I don't think you actually understand.
All right, I'm gonna watch this.
Okay, hold on. And then I don't know if I'm allowed to like link it or something or post it in the thing, but I can
We
check.
can blend it in, yeah.
Okay. Okay. This is so you're gonna die. You're gonna die.
All right.
Okay, I just sent
Um,
it.
how much lube is 1,000 bottles of lube?
Like they need an
They
entire
use it.
like they need an entire separate house to like store this. I swear to this is so much.
He did a CAD.
Yeah.
He went in a blender and
He
like
said he
3D.
said it was 2:30 in the morning and he could not sleep until he knew what it looked what 1,000 bottles of lube looked like.
Is this 1,000?
Yes.
It is. Look, Layla, you can. He says that hyperbole. Layla, okay, on Amazon, like the link I used to buy my lube, you can also buy like a 455-gallon tub, a 455-pound tub of lube.
Where are you going to put that?
People use lube for all sorts of shit, man. What I'm saying is the mindset of someone who wants to, like, there's a bunch of reasons why you might want to, like, I can't think of a single one right now. Like, okay, maybe you want to give lube away at an event and you buy a bunch of bottles and you want to pump it yourself and like make it, right? But buying in bulk makes sense. Like, I get if you throw, maybe you want to
I
every
want it on
guest.
record. I want it on record that Brian is defending Diddy's behavior right now.
I'm not. I'm
I
just
know. I'm just
talking about
gonna.
the lube portion, right? Like maybe the lube, maybe he had small lube bottles and they were takeaways, you know, and on each bottle it was like, take that, you know, because he would always say
With like
that,
little bows on them, and it's like
you know, or like like the little lube bottle said bad boy. I don't know, right? So I think there's a lot of reasons why someone would have. Maybe you walk into the party and everybody gets their own lube. You read like we all share lube at parties. Is that kind of gross? I don't know,
I
but
mean, I guess like unconscious.
I hope it comes up. I hope it comes up in the trial. Like, but why 1,000, sir? Why 1,000
Yeah.
bottles? That part makes the most sense to me,
And
dude. Am I crazy?
Brian's in the back of the courtroom. He's like, on Amazon, you can buy in bulk.
He might have gotten it off Amazon. We don't know. It's like it's not like he like bought it from like the mob or something. Like
The baby
like
oil mafia. I don't know. That's pretty crazy down here.
you can buy Johnson and Johnson baby oil in bulk if you want to. That's not illegal. It looks weird, but it's not illegal.
Okay, when I come to your house, I'm looking around. Okay.
Layla,
Where are you
you're
hiding
talking.
your bulk?
I buy stuff in bulk though. Like if if I find a shirt I like, I buy it in like 8 colors. Like that is that's how guys think, dude. We're not like if I find a t-shirt I wear, I'm like these Calvin Kleins fit me great. I'm gonna buy 50 pairs in black. That is how we think.
Okay, but also isn't baby oil like not good for pH? Like why isn't he
Okay.
using he can afford real fucking water-based lube.
Okay. Here's I'm gonna say this and we can cut this. I think that's a black thing
Really?
because like you don't want to be ashy. And when you take your clothes off, you don't
Oh.
want to be ashy. So like when you put baby oil on your body, like your muscles look more like you go to like these like the Mr. Olympia competition, like they tan and they put fucking oil on to look better. And so I would think if I was at a party trying to look good under the lights and stuff, like baby oil would work.
Okay.
That's what I
Yeah.
think. I don't know this. I don't think you need 1,000 bottles of it to accomplish that, but I hope we find out if anything we follow up with about this story, it'll be
It'll be this
why were
baby
there a
oil.
thousand dollars of lube?
Half of this episode has been about this fucking baby oil. I am just so flabbergasted.
This will be fun to cut. I hope we cut like the fun stuff and the laughter and the anger along with like the tips. But
Yeah.
like we didn't talk, like what's funny is like we're not talking about the guns or the bullets. Like that makes sense. You're a hip hop mogul
Right.
gangsta. Like of course you have
Right.
guns, but why do you have 1,000 bottles of lube, sir? And like why did the prosecution say that in the press? Like in the
I know. It's like, okay, the guns, sure. The prostitutes, okay. The non-consensual sex, the drugs, okay. Okay, the baby oil, can we have a conversation?
why'd they say that? They didn't have to, like they specifically called out. And like how they know is 1,000 bottles. Like some intern had to count all the bottles. Like some intern for the FBI. It's like he goes to Harvard. He's interning with the FBI this summer. He's like, yeah, I'm with the FBI. He's like, we got a job for you, Scotty.
Poor Scotty.
We need to know how many
He's
bottles
so
of
slippery.
dude, poor Scotty, dude.
I swear to God. This is all fucking crazy. It's all
It's not
crazy.
a funny situation. I'm glad we're finding the fun in it. Because
I mean,
it
it's
is
it's not a funny situation. We're not laughing at the situation. It's just some of these details that come out that the media and everybody's going, what the fuck? I mean, the media got it spot on because again, I'm like, oh, drugs and sex. And I'm just like, yeah, like we've heard this story a million times. Like Weinstein, Epstein, like we've heard these stories before. But then you're seeing these specifics that are like, and it's
yeah.
making you create these kind of I almost said fantasies, but that's not it. It's creating these stories in your head of maybe it's for this, maybe it's for this. Well, what about this? Where did he get it? Who's supplying it? Why is it so much? Where is he keeping? Like it's creating these questions that the media knows is going to put people in a spiral, right? So they're doing a great
Right.
job.
They are, because you're like, why? Like, what? That part doesn't make any fucking sense. Like,
Yeah.
and it doesn't. Anyway, all right. Hey, y'all, that was fun. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Mass Swingers. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this content and you want more like it. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to hop on our chat with us either on YouTube or on any of the socials that you'll see our posts on. We'll be back next week with more exciting episodes. Until then, why don't you try something or try someone new?